Tonight on Debate Amongst Friends, going back a little old school, a little day one-ish, no music, no frills, no brands, just two guys, two microphones, one show on several topics. I am the doctor here, the doc. Man, there's so many different names I have now. Doc Ocean, Dr. Wednesday Night, Doc Lesnar, the great Docini. I mean, there's so many I can go by. But a lot of people just call me the doc, the great one, the most electrifying podcast personality there is. And I am among greatness. There he is, the Professor John Gotti, the king of RNG, the troll master, the data analyzing ninja, the conqueror of his own destiny, the technician himself who stopped what he's doing. He was in the middle of a big relocation to sit here with the doc and do a quick podcast tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am the Professor John Gotti, and I am the advocate in the winner's corner. Representing Business Amongst Friends, the reigning, defending, undisputed podcast champion, Doc Lesnar. I'm not gonna lie, I felt kind of weird not doing D. It is cool though.
I think don't get me wrong. I love Croup Dog. I love the music. I love everything that we usually do. The theatrics, the slideshow, the man in the chair, like all of it. But it's something about this episode 1, no music, like acapella almost show that we're doing here. Not Clinkapella, but acapella. No. But we're just doing a quick run here. I mean, you know, we've had a rough and long week, both of us really. I didn't even get a chance to tell you, and I'm breaking news. This is similar to you revealing your glasses a couple of weeks ago. I am actually going to be in a movie.
Aw, snap.
Yeah, the doc's going to be in a movie. I'm not going to release too much details, but once the movie is released, I will make sure all the listeners out there know that the doc was in a movie this past weekend. We were filming, and it was a really, really great time. Yeah, the doc actually, he looked good on the screen. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, he sounded good. He brought some flair to the screen. A little woo action.
A little wooing?
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
So what you're telling me is that you're going to be in the Marine 6. I got it.
Oh my God, not the Marine franchise. Oh God, no, I'm not going to be in the Marine. But my wife and some local filmmakers, they wrote a movie, and they said, well, we want maybe the doc should be in the movie. And I said, oh, okay, the doc will be in a movie. Special cameo. I finally get my crack at IMDb, which is going to be great, having the doc on IMDb. I guess technically we both would be on IMDb because it's like we do a podcast. We're live. We do gaming amongst friends. We're live. We talk all the time. So yeah, that's happening. That happened.
Hey, I say I can't wait to see you out there on the big screen, styling, profiling, and delivering those moviegoers a classic B-Dorm that they'll never, ever forget.
I think it's going to be really good. I'm really excited about it. Really, just can't wait. It's going to be great. But I know we have a few things to discuss tonight. It's just so weird without the music. Ding, 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 ding. Like the whole thing, like Croup Dog. I know he's like, come on, guys. We were so consistent.
I know. It's been over 100 episodes with him. I mean,
hey, Croup Dog, yeah. Because we started, I think, episode maybe 12 or 13 with him.
It's like episode 8.
Yeah, I know. It's funny because J Rich actually let me hear a song that he's thinking about for his intro for his upcoming season 2, which I believe starts next month. Survivor Series. Yeah, Survivor Series. And I was like, hey man, if you're feeling it like we feel Croup Dog, then I say you go for it. Oh, there you go, a little background Croup Dog. That's perfect.
Just because it doesn't feel right without playing Croup Dog.
It doesn't. It's so weird. But let's put Croup Dog aside and let's jump into this here. So we had some NFL action, and I hated the fact that
I was correct again.
Well, yes, I hated that. That Gotti air, those Gotti reads. This guy should be working on Wall Street, John Gotti. But I was right too, technically.
He was.
I said, and and this is just really quickly. I'll go over this Bucs game. I said that the quarterback would have to beat us. We would have to force the quarterback to beat us. Mitchell Trubisky would have to beat us. And what did he do?
He didn't just beat you, sir.
He went fantasy monster on us. 5 touchdowns.
He went punch, 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 spit on the hand, and then punch. He laid the smack down all over Tampa Bay's.
I mean,
Capriati.
And it's funny because we exchanged dialogue about it, and I said, maybe the Bucs defense has been bad since the beginning of the season. When you think about it, though, we gave up 40, and I think then we came back and gave up 20, 22 or something like that. Then we came back again and gave up another almost 30 points. Then we came up this time 48?
Yeah, 48.
So the defense been pretty bad the whole year. It's just we were so enamored, and you made the point to bring up Linsanity. But this really was about Fitz magic.
But it's the same if you think about it, though.
It is. I mean, it's just a different timing, I guess, because Fitzpatrick, being that this is the first player ever to throw 400 yards in 3 straight games, sure, it was pretty magical. And I would expect if you were to take somebody like Aaron Rodgers and put him on the Bucs, I would think that with the weapons that we have, he might throw for 500 yards in 3 games. If you put the Bucs receivers on the Packers, I don't think anybody beats the Green Bay Packers.
I think if Aaron Rodgers was on the Buccaneers, and I know, you're over there just sweating it up because you're like, oh my God.
Come on.
You have reason to, let the sweat caress your forehead, sir.
Yes.
The Bucs would be 4-0 right now.
I agree, but I mean, we still have this offensive line where I don't know. They're good one week, they're not good another week. It's so weird.
It's better than what Aaron Rodgers be dealing with. Like, that's heaven in comparison. If you think about it.
But you want to know something, and then we can get off the Bucs. I don't want to talk about the Bucs for the whole episode, but
you see that, ladies and gentlemen? When the Bucs win, he'll want to spend 25 minutes talking about it. But when they lose, oh yeah, they lost. Let's just keep on going.
Let's just keep on going. But you think about it, though, honestly. When I look at other defenses around the league, and this is not just this year, this is the last 3 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Bucs, and I felt this way about the Rockets too. I feel like they're such a finesse team. Like they just don't have any nasty in them whatsoever.
I want some nasty.
I hate it so bad. Like, I don't know what it is about my teams that there's no grit. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the Euro step, but I love it even more when James Harden just dunks on somebody. You get what I'm saying? Like, I want people to just, like, hit somebody. Like, I look at other defenses and I'd be like, what are they coaching that these guys aren't coaching? Or, like, what who are we picking that? Like, I don't get it. Like, these guys are just not. It's just like we don't play physical football, and I hate it. So if the Pittsburgh Steelers fire Mike Tomlin this year, that is who I want. Even if that means we have to switch to the 3-4 defense and trade everybody on defense, I'll take it. I'll take it.
I got nothing there.
I'm just saying, if the Steelers fire Mike Tomlin, I'll take him.
I really don't know what to say there because I wasn't even thinking about Mike Tomlin potentially getting let go after this season, which is a big possibility.
It is.
I know people don't like to hear that, but I mean, their situation's pretty toxic right now.
And the only reason I say that is because first of all, they're right now the most penalized team in the league. Mm-hmm. You do have the whole Le'Veon Bell thing. I'm going to be honest with you. They're probably going to have an Antonio Brown problem soon because and I don't know if he has the Madden curse thing going on right now.
No, he's still top 5 in the league. Like, out of all position players, offensive position players, he's top 5 in the league. So,
and I feel you. I think he's doing great. I just feel like this year Juju is outplaying him.
Well, that's because Big Ben is throwing the ball to Juju. Oh, and to answer your Buccaneers situation, I have a quote. I'm seeing a little bit of unconfidence, a little hesitation. It's not supposed to be easy. Every round gets tougher. Penetrate harder, good passes, shoot with confidence. I want some nasty. From Greg Pop.
That sounded like the beginning conversation of a porno when you read it without context. Just think about what you said.
Wow. I have enough of that with the Duke and the Duchess. I don't need that here.
I think you should have said Greg Popovich said this.
I said it exactly at the end.
Yeah, you had to start.
I said it at the end. Oh my gosh. Which literally made the whole press conference afterwards hilarious.
It does.
Can you tell us what you was talking about when you used the word nasty?
Exactly.
What? Yeah, you said you want some nasty.
Yes.
Why would you say something like that?
Exactly. But I mean, I agree with the statement, despite its.
I really feel like you're coming into that part way too hot.
But I feel like it's true though. I wish that there would be this nasty, and when you look at the teams that are losing, I feel like even the other teams that are losing, like the Bills, I feel like the Bills are still fighting at least. Like,
they didn't fight on Sunday.
Well, they're not a good team. I mean, they got rid of Tyrod Taylor. McCoy is hurt. I don't really even know who's on their defense right now. Noteworthy. I mean, the first person I heard about was the guy who retired at halftime. I mean, come on. That's the first defensive player I've heard of in the past couple of weeks. It took Vontae Davis retiring for us to even know.
I was going to say, how do you not know his name?
Oh, no, I just don't like – it's something about his name that I just be like, I don't want to keep saying this with his name out there. But, yeah, Vontae Davis he's a good player, too. He was a really, really good player for the Colts for many years. And that's the Vontae Davis that I remember, not this guy retiring at halftime. I don't want to remember that guy.
So Vontae Davis is like the Undertaker?
Oh, God. He's just going to keep coming back for one show?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
In which, for those who aren't wrestling fans, the Super Showdown is this Saturday.
Oh, is it?
Network.
Oh, okay. I might check it out. We'll see. Now, another game. Well, my dad called this. My dad has some reads, I'll say. He did say that the Jaguars would beat the Jets because
Papa Lester.
That they were mad because the Jaguars lost last week, and I guess he was right. I think we were both right about the Dolphins losing to the Patriots because the Patriots were like, listen, we're not going to get beat twice in a row. Why don't you just stop it?
No, the Patriots basically owns the Dolphins, and everyone knew this.
They do own the Dolphins. It's actually pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it's really, really.
I think the only other game that I saw that I was like, wow, like this is really good, and really this team should be ashamed of themselves. And I
Almost as
could,
bad as LeBron James owning the Raptors.
yes, absolutely. You know what? That's a great analogy.
Yep.
That's great. But speaking of LeBron, I mean, staying in Cleveland, yesterday game, I was just talking about the Raiders and the Browns. Some questionable calls, some questionable decisions by the refs.
I mean, this was the game I thought, Baker Mayfield would really cement himself. And I felt like even though they lost, like he had two turnovers. I can't blame for the first one, the pick,
right?
But like that fumble, that fumble.
I mean, the speed of the game is probably getting to him still. But when you think about it, though, I mean, Baker Mayfield seems like the type of quarterback that's going to give you an opportunity. And I said this about Tyrod last week. Give you the opportunity to be in shootouts.
Yes.
And I didn't feel like Tyrod could do that. I like Tyrod as a quarterback, but I didn't feel like I would feel confident about him shooting out with another quarterback of even Derek Carr's stature. I mean, he had 437, 4 touchdowns, but I feel like a game like this could save Hugh Jackson's job.
I think Hugh Jackson's job pretty much is secured now. As long as Baker Mayfield still produces the way that he did, like he still didn't have a terrible game. And I'm hearing on Monday, like, oh, who's to blame? Baker Mayfield, the Browns, Hugh Jackson, like
nobody.
He threw for almost 300 yards. Like,
I mean,
what more can you ask him for? Like the run game was finally there.
Yeah.
We talked about that the first 3 weeks. Nick Chubb, who you really enjoyed watching play.
If you're gonna blame anybody, it's
for 105 yards and 3 carries.
Absolutely. I think if you're gonna blame anywhere, you're gonna blame Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator. Couldn't stop a nosebleed out there.
Like, isn't it ironic that the guy who was trying to have his defense play at 100, full speed for training camp, can't even stop the Oakland Raiders offense?
And I'll give them a slight bit of slack because they did lose Michael Kendricks to the whole insider trading thing, which now he's suspended indefinitely.
Also got rid of Michael Kendricks as well too.
Yeah, he got suspended indefinitely. Like the NFL was just like, no, you're done. You're done here.
He's gone.
Yeah, he's done. Yeah, he's done. He's done faster than Vontae Davis. I'm sorry.
I got it there.
But this game was pretty good. I mean, outside of
games like you heard me say this last week, but like games like these, these are the kind of games that the NFL wants now. They want these shootouts.
I mean, you had 2 overtime games. You had this one. Actually, you had 3. You had this one, the Texans and the Colts winning the overtime. You have the Eagles and the Titans. The Titans have been pulling out some real close games. The Duke must be proud.
The Duke is very happy about it. He said that he really enjoyed the fact that the team, never stops fighting. But I mean, and I agree with him with this one notion where he said that having all these close games is great, especially trying to head towards a playoff berth. But like, you don't want to hang your hat on making it every game.
Right. And I think we talked about that 2 weeks ago where a team kept coming back at the end until they got to the playoffs. And that's where their magic ran out. We forgot what team it was, but I mean, maybe it was the Titans.
Maybe it was the Falcons.
You know what? It might have been the Falcons. It might have been the Falcons.
I mean, speaking of which, the reigning defending Super Bowl champions now 2-2, sir. What do you think about that?
Well, I think they're in a bit of a bind. I think although they gained and going into the season, you thought that they would be a team to be reckoned with, but I think that they're magic. They had a magical run. I don't think that the Eagles haven't historically haven't really been like a great team. Their defense have always been really good, but their offense has always struggled. And I just feel like this is another one of those things. Like the Eagles basically returning to form, so to speak, if that makes sense.
And Carson Wentz threw for 348, 2 TDs, and no picks. Like, this is on some Patrick Mahomes level right there.
Oh, we're gonna get to Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, of course we are. But I'm trying to say is like he has a really good QBR for that game.
Definitely.
Like, I'm trying to see like where the offense is the problem. I mean, maybe the run game, but I mean, they collectively ran for over 100 yards, and that's just the running backs by themselves. Like, I'm trying to see where that disconnect is with the offense. Like, did they just need to score more points? Is what you're trying to say?
Because I mean, if you think about it, though, they lost some close games. I mean, obviously, they lost to the Bucks, so that was great. But it seems as though it does come down to just winning the game really pretty much at the end. Like, so you think about it, they lost by a touchdown to the Bucks and they lost by 3 points. So it's like finishing the drives, finishing the game seems to be an issue that they're having.
That makes more sense.
But even the game,
because when I hear that, I'm like, are you just saying like offensively they're not being sound because they're still getting just about 500 off all-purpose offensive yards in the game?
But you think about it, even the games that they've won, 4-point win, 6 to 8 point win, and then if you're losing by 3 or you're losing by 7, so it's like you're not putting up the points to cover your defense.
Carson Wentz's second game back as well,
Exactly.
and I think that's probably the other part of the issue is just the readjustment period, because it takes about 3 games to get back to form.
I agree with that, and it also, when you look at it though, and I think we talked about this in the preseason, we knew that Nick Foles' magic had ran out, and I think the magic that he had, Fitzpatrick had for those first couple of games.
I don't know if Fitzpatrick didn't help lead the team to the Super Bowl. I really don't think we can make that comparison.
I mean, tomato.
Hey, I'm just saying. We had a couple of QBs win the Super Bowl that were backups.
Well, I would say that Nick Foles, and I don't remember last year, but if he had a bad game or two, I don't remember. I believe he had one bad game. But I think that in this situation, Nick Foles, they had no choice but to roll with Nick Foles. In this situation, Jameis is back from suspension. Hey, Fitz, you had a good 3 to 4 games. We tried the old guy. Young guys are much faster. They're stronger. And hey,
they're still inaccurate.
Oh, wow. Moving on. So the last game.
So we're not going to talk about the Rams and the Vikings?
So I don't want to talk about the Vikings. I feel like they're a big disappointment.
They are.
And they make me upset because every week I think that their defense is going to
just disappointed upset.
I don't even know the difference when I talk about the Vikings right now.
No, they're so bad that you can't even differentiate between the two emotional spectrums.
Because it's like I expect the Vikings to be so good, and then they disappoint. But honestly, the Rams' defense has been disappointing as well. Even before the injuries, I thought these were going to be two of the top defenses that were going to be shutting people down, but they've been pretty lackluster. And I picked the Vikings defense.
I don't know why you keep picking the Viking defense. This is the second week.
Hmm.
Second straight week.
Well, you think about it. Last week they played the Buffalo Bills, and as you could see, the Packers defense shut out the Bills, and I thought that the Vikings defense was much better than the Packers defense,
Way better.
but they
Way
just couldn't.
better.
And that's what I'm saying. It's just ridiculous.
Like,
So that's why I'm just like so over the Vikings defense right now. But the Rams offense, I mean, Jared Goff looks great. He looks like the guy that they expected to be at the helm. The guy that Jeff Fisher wanted is who Sean McVay got.
100% agree with you.
I mean,
Other than the other quarterback that we're going to talk about, I mean, he is one of the best. Well, I guess you could say he's the best quarterback of the NFC, and the quarterback the best quarterback of the AFC at this current
time. Right now. I've seen some people already give Patrick Mahomes the MVP, and I'm just like, hold on, wait a minute.
Like, first of all, it is a quarter of the season away, so for most sense, it is warranted to be able to do that. But you have to add that little notion at the end of it, like at this current time.
Because you think about it, 2 weeks ago, Fitzpatrick would have been the MVP.
Exactly.
I agree. So, I mean, to me,
not by much.
Exactly. To me, I mean, it's still pretty open. You got some teams that are still battling out there. But the Thursday night game and the Monday night game, I don't know. I wasn't really.
That game was actually decent.
It was the first half. I think the second half, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the Steelers, and that's why I think that Mike Tomlin might be on that hot seat. It would be foolish of the Steelers to do that. I think they would be better off getting rid of their offensive coordinator and a new offensive coordinator. But I don't think they're going to allow them to run on that excuse, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
And who knows if this is Ben's last year. Well, I received notice that I know the Bucks are actually bringing in another quarterback for some reason. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks wind up trading a quarterback. Hey, maybe the Bucks trade Jameis Winston to the Steelers for Le'Veon Bell. I don't know.
I feel like that you're trying to project a lot over there, sir.
I mean, I'd rather have that trade than any trade revolving around Jimmy Butler. I
think Jimmy Butler one might actually happen though.
I don't know. We'll get to that in a second here, but let's talk about Patrick. Don't call me
predictions, sir.
Let's talk about Patrick. Don't call me Pee Wee Herman Mahomes.
First of all, Internet, you need to have a heart. Like, wow.
His voice, I did not expect that. I expected a whole bunch of things, but I did not expect that voice. I was just like, what is this?
I mean, what's so bad about it, though?
Did you hear it?
Yes!
I was like, Pee Wee Herman, it was so funny. But I think that's a fake voice, though. Not like fake, but like, so when I'm doing like a voiceover, because I do some voiceover work from time to time, or I'm doing something where I feel like I have to act like something different, my voice changes. And I feel like that's what he was doing. Like, he's doing an interview, and that's his professional voice. Like, I'm pretty sure he might not sound like that all the time. Like, when he's calling plays in the huddle, I'm pretty sure he does not sound like that. Because, I don't know, that's hilarious. Woo!
But let's talk about the man on the field. Patrick Mahomes actually had some issues against the Broncos defense. So one of the things that we talked about last week was whether or not he can overcome the Broncos defense. And I believe you said that the Broncos defense wasn't that much of a concern. I think was that right, or
something like that? I mean, outside of their defensive ends or outside linebackers, I didn't feel as though there was anything there that would ultimately, shut him down. And for the most part, they figured him out in the first half. But I think with the struggles of Case Keenum, they kind of let off a little bit. And I mean, he just figured out a way to score in the fourth quarter with some trickery and some passes with his right and left hand.
I mean, the people, even though I'm remote right now, like the people are still screaming in my ears. They want to know the top 3 best qualities of Patrick Mahomes. Go, sir.
I would say number one is his decision making. I think this new wave of RPO, um, I think it has helped quarterbacks. Actually, the system as a whole is helping quarterbacks that maybe not be the best at reading coverages. So it gives them a quick read. It's like call a run, but if you see a person, one person, you're reading one person. If you see that person out of line, you pass it. Number two, his resilience. He's able to sit in the pocket, move around, scramble. Very, very versatile. Um, his scrambling ability reminds me a little bit of Michael Vick, not so much the speed. I don't think he's as fast as Michael Vick. I don't know if anybody's as fast as Michael Vick, but I feel like he can really, really escape the pocket, and he has that championship presence. And I think a lot of people are comparing him to Brett Favre because he does have that gunslinger mentality, and he is out there looking like he's having a lot of fun. I think the third thing that makes
watching him play is a lot of fun.
It is actually a lot of fun. I think the last thing I would say is just his ability to keep his eye down the field. And I think that goes along with the decision making, with the scrambling ability. But I feel like he's one of those quarterbacks that, although he knows that he can run, and we've talked about scrambling quarterbacks in the past, but although he knows that he can run, he will sit back there. Like there was one pass where, and I've seen Rodgers do it. I think I've seen Brady do it. I've definitely seen Brett Favre do it. But you're running to your left, and he kind of turned around and just threw it, across his body. But his body was over the line of scrimmage, but his arm was back here, and
yes, I know exactly which throw you're talking about. Yep.
And I was just like, oh my God. And it's so funny because they had showed a clip of him playing baseball, and that's exactly what it looked like. It looked like a baseball throw, like a little A-Rod, just, jumping in. Alex Rodriguez, I'm sorry.
I know.
A little A-Rod, just jumping in the air and throwing it sidearm. Sorry. I mentioned A-Rod. But I think that he's a good quarterback. And my brother called me and he said, "Man, that kid is good." And I was like, "Yeah, he is pretty good." Just hope that he continues to grow and not let the money, not let this time, get to his head, take him away from the game, because we've seen pretty good quarterbacks who've had a great starting year, and then that next year it kind of goes downhill. Of course, most of those quarterbacks played for the Bucks, but that goes neither here nor there.
I didn't want to say that, but I'm so glad that you said it, because if you would have passed, if you would have glanced over that part, I would have called you out on that.
But I mean, even when you think about like people like the Dukes, Vince Young, and you think about Byron Leftwich. I don't know. I mean, there's a few quarterbacks out there that had great starts, but then it just kind of fizzled out. I mean, it happens to the best of quarterbacks. But hopefully Patrick Mahomes is able to continue. Shout out to Andy Reid. I mean, he might not win a Super Bowl every year, but he makes football fun. Some of the packages that they run out there are really, really intriguing. They're really, really creative, and they're fun. And I think that's also something that Patrick Mahomes learns from. I mean, Andy Reid. Before I finish that, shout out to the GM who scouted Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
Or that scout. Because, I mean, I was just sitting there like, where'd they find this guy? Like, and have the guts to draft him in the first round. Like, that's some guts, man. Hey, we got to draft this kid. Like, he is the real deal. Like, let's forget all of our other needs. I know we got Alex Smith, but we can't pass on this guy. He's the future. I know Alex is good, but we can't pass on this guy. And then to have the guts, bro, the guts to trade Alex Smith and hand over the keys to this young kid. I mean, that's where Andy Reid gets my credit.
He gets a lot of credit for that. The worst part is there were so many news outlets who, mocked the Chiefs for making this move, and they said Andy Reid lost his mind. He's getting too old for this.
Right.
Like, he's obviously trying to shake the pot a little bit. There's been disconnect between him and Alex Smith. Like, no, this is strictly a football decision.
Absolutely. They tried and absolutely. A shout out to them for being so courageous. I mean,
absolutely.
All right, let's see. So I think that's it for the field.
Yes. Week 5, what games are you looking forward to watching?
Well, I think the one game I'm looking forward to watching is the Bucks bye week. I'm looking so forward to that bye week. I think it's going to be so great for us. Hopefully we're able to fire our defensive coordinator and get a new one, but that probably won't happen because they're all going to go down with the ship. I think I'm going to look forward to continuing to watch the Browns. I think the Browns and the Ravens are always going to be a good fight. I find it so crazy that the Browns left Cleveland to go to Baltimore to win a championship, but this Browns team can't win. It's so crazy to me. So I definitely look forward to that game. I think also looking over two teams that just can't seem to score even on prom night, the Eagles versus the Vikings. I think that's going to be a good one. Oh, God. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And then the Battle of Texas, Cowboys versus Texans. I think that's going to be an interesting one.
It's only going to be interesting.
Some bragging rights going.
This past Sunday, which is, feed Zeke.
They're not going to feed no Zeke. Not this week, at least.
Nope.
They're probably not going to be able to. Texans defense has always been pretty tough, so I don't know if they'll be able to do that, but I'm looking forward to that little battle. I imagine that the Eagles will beat the Vikings, but you never know. So far, I would say the trade and the new quarterback, Kirk Cousins, hasn't paid off for the Vikings just yet. But then again, the defense isn't really doing anything spectacular either. So, yeah. Another sleeping game that might be pretty good is the Falcons and the Steelers.
I was going to put that as one of the games I'm interested in watching this weekend. Also, the Rams and the Seahawks.
Yeah, that would be one that I would be interested to see.
Division battle. They're going to be out there, in Seattle, the 12th man, seeing what Goff going to do against that defense. Some weeks they play not great, but pretty good enough to get the job done. And other weeks they just crap.
Look like the Legion of Doom.
No, we can't even call them that. The Legion of Gloom.
Gloom.
Because we can't disrespect the Road Warriors.
That's true. We can't. Well, time to move on.
And the last one actually is going to be a pretty fun game to watch. Is the Jaguars and the Chiefs.
Now that might be a test for Mahomes. If Mahomes can get past the Chiefs, the Jaguars, then that's gonna be special. I'm sorry,
but they're gonna play. They're playing at home.
I don't think that. The Jaguars are tough. That's what I'm saying. The Jaguars are really, really tough.
The Jaguars is a team that that they could come to a stadium that's not, in Saxonville and steal a victory.
Only thing I know that Leonard Fournette's not playing, but I think the backs that they have on the roster, I think they can get it done. But Mahomes, I mean, we're gonna see. He's the MVP in some people's eyes already. So,
I mean,
but I guess it's not.
best quarterback in the conference so far, like up to this point.
But in some people's eyes, LeBron is already MVP.
Well, in some people's eyes, LeBron James is also a 12-time champion.
That's true. He's actually the scoring champion also.
Yeah, how many times he won the scoring champion again?
He has more points than Kareem.
He has more defensive player of the years than Michael Jordan.
Yeah, he's definitely won 6 titles.
Wait, are you saying 6 titles?
Okay.
6 titles that also represents loyalty, hustle, and respect?
Which...
Oh, you saw what I did there.
Yeah, that was good. I don't know about the loyalty part, but I mean, he's loyal
of course he's not loyal.
Say,
he's loyal to...
Yes. No. To his brand, himself. I'll give him credit. He's a mogul. But
oh no, absolutely. Like, you know, if we had a chance to do what he was doing, like, we'd take that in a heartbeat. We're talking just purely on a basketball level on the court.
Absolutely.
That's all we're saying. That's
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, we might as well just swivel on over to the hardwood a little bit.
Yeah, let's stop catching TD passes and let's start hitting some threes. Because no one don't that much anymore.
I mean, yeah, nobody's doing that. I think I saw Marcus All in the post, and I think even he felt uncomfortable yesterday in the post. I think he was like, wait a minute, nobody plays down here anymore. What am I doing? Nobody does this. Why am I down here? I think people heckled Carmelo for taking a 2-point shot yesterday. I think that happened also.
Well, not only did he get heckled for it, but he actually apologized to his teammates when he did it.
Guys, I'm so sorry
he quickly realized that that's not the way that this team rolls. It's not the philosophy of the team. But I appreciate the fact that he at least owned up to it. But I feel like people are giving him way too much heat.
It is way too much heat because if you watch the highlight, the next possession down or the next possession in the highlight, Chris Paul hits a 2-pointer too. So it was like whatever. And, you know, I think the mid-range for us in that second unit is going to be important because if we do, God forbid, go 0 for 7 in threes, not 27, but 0 for 7 in threes, then we can start going for the twos.
I felt like y'all should have just started going for twos, like
layups, please. Layup drill.
Like drop down the lane, you know, and get 3 points the old school way.
Yeah, the old-fashioned way. But and you know, I don't want to stay on the Rockets too long because they did win this game. I want you to know they won this game, but I don't want to stay on them too long. But I will say that I enjoyed watching the first quarter or so. I felt like we have a lot of length. I felt like, you know, watching the highlights today, I could see that there were a lot of people who were able to shoot the basketball. Michael Carter Williams looked a little bit like his old self.
Yep.
Rookie year, Michael Carter Williams. So that was pretty fun to watch. Chris Paul looks to be healthy. Melo gave me what I expected. Today I was thinking about that. Maybe people expected MVP Melo, but we don't want that. We just want 13 to 17 point Melo.
Like, I really feel like people are asking way too much.
Way too much. Like,
just relax.
Yeah, chill.
LAX. I was going to purposely misspell it, but I'm like, no, just relax.
Just relax, yeah. Because it's like, we just need him to score that 15 points, somewhere in that range, just to give us a little boost. Eric Gordon's going to be there. James Harden's going to be there. Chris Paul's going to be there. Capella. But there's so many role players. I think D'Antoni is going to have to run a 10-man rotation this year. And that's the only way that we'll be successful throughout the whole year.
I feel like if he expanded it to 10, it'll help out in the long run, especially in the
It
playoffs.
will. Because
Because
I think last year he ran. Yeah, I think he ran 7.
he ran 7
Yeah,
last year.
I was like, you're an
But like, the
idiot.
problem was like people would just gas. Like, I mean, you mentioned it too immediately after Game 7. You know, once you said, I don't want to talk about it. But I'm like, no, we kind of have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I
we
have to
gonna
talk
talk
about it.
about this game. This
Of
game right
course.
here.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
you
how
mentioned
could
how
you
James
forget?
Harden was just, pooped out because he
I mean,
once again had to do everything.
and then let's not even forget the harassment charges that should have been filed that day too. The battery, the
We're not going
assault.
to talk about that.
There you go.
We're not going to talk about that.
But let's look at some of the other games that I actually had a chance to see. I know the Cavs, and me and my brother kind of talked a bit off stream, but the Cavs look pretty good. And I know this is just preseason, but I will say that I enjoyed watching the Cavs work without LeBron. Just
Yes.
seeing them actually be able to run an offense that isn't centered around LeBron. I was Alan Sexton. That's going to be an interesting feel. Honestly, I think the only downfall to the Celtics game is Kyle Korver. He's just not going to get it done. I think with LeBron, maybe.
You said Corver's the low man for the Cavs or the Celtics? I heard you say Celtics.
I said Cavs.
Okay, it's okay.
I hope I said Cavs. I said Cavs.
I heard you say it's okay though. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I mean, maybe I broke up a little bit.
It's okay. No. Well, the people know exactly what you said, but it's cool. Keep going.
I hope I said the Cavs. I mean, if I didn't say Cavs, I do apologize. I meant the Cavs.
No,
I
no,
don't
no.
think that Kyle Korver is.
What was your thoughts on their rookie, Colin Sexton?
I thought Colin Sexton had a great game. I mean, he didn't play too much, and I think I talked about this earlier, right before we started. But I think other teams played their guys 20+ minutes.
He played 23.
But I mean,
he
did
played
play 23.
23.
Yeah, 23. You're right. I mean, he had a pretty good game. I saw him get to the cup a few times. But really, I wasn't really thinking so much to watch him. I really was watching the likes of like Larry Nance Jr., of course, Kevin Love. But I'm really, really looking to see what Cedi Osman can do. I really, really think that he's going to be the type of guy, kind of like a what's his name from the Jazz? Oh God, let me look it up really quickly. What is his name? Joe Ingles.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he's going to be that Joe Ingles type of player who might be able to knock down the three, going to get them some extra buckets. It's just going to take him some time. He's pretty young still, but I really feel like he's the kind of guy that they're going to really rely on to get those buckets. Him and Kevin Love. You think about it, Tristan Thompson is a liability with the basketball in his hand. I like what I saw out of Rodney Hood. I can't believe they were thinking about trading him this whole offseason.
I just like a lot of Cavs players going to have way better seasons now.
I agree. I mean, they have a lot of role players, but I think if we get back to, I guess, the Kevin Love that we used to know, the Kevin Love who was a big fish in a small pond, and he starts doing those 2020s again, I think they can.
Kevin Love.
We want the old Kevin Love. Maybe they can deal Tristan Thompson and get him out of there. You know what I mean? And hey, they got to do what they got to do. I mean, really, they really do. But ultimately, exactly. Ultimately, I think they're going to be okay. My brother thinks that they're actually going to make the playoffs. Bold prediction, but that's what he believes. But in the East, they might.
Next week.
We're going to have to try. I know he gets off pretty late, but we'll have to try and see what we can do.
It's not the first time we've been accommodating someone because they work late.
Or if they're in another time zone.
Exactly. Or several time zones.
Exactly. But looking over it, I mean, I saw that the Knicks won a game or two. I think they're winning right now. They're beating the Nets right now.
I mean, A, it's the Nets.
Yeah,
B, it's
fine.
also still preseason, so I'm not like overly hyped about it. But I've been very impressed. I mean, I've been speaking highly about Kevin Knox, man.
He had a double-double against the Wizards. I
He
mean,
had a
that's pretty
double-double.
impressive.
He's the truth. I mean, he's struggling tonight with only 7 points, but I mean,
But
he can bring a lot to the table. He's a guy that, I mean, people just slept on. They were just like, "Who's Kevin Knox?" And I'm like, "Hey, you need to do your homework."
yeah, Kevin Knox was pretty good. I don't. I would be upset if I was to say that I didn't know where Kevin Knox came from, because he was really, really like the only player that was really playing on the Kentucky team for the most part. Like, this is like the first year that I looked at the Kentucky Wildcats. I only saw like one star because I got so used to them having multiple
Multiple stars.
stars. But yeah, that's ridiculous for somebody not to know Kevin Knox. But I mean, I could understand them wanting somebody else. I mean, this is a good draft, but I don't think the Knicks lost in drafting Kevin Knox.
Nope.
But that brings me to our discussion earlier with Kevin Knox.
Also, before you say that, the reason why Kevin Knox not scoring as much, Ernest Cantor has 19 points, 22 points, 19 rebounds, and Alonzo Trier has 25 points and 4 rebounds. So,
well, Enes Kanter has to show off for his boo.
We got the big man, bringing back that 90s style basketball.
He has to show off for his girl.
So your question, sir.
Show off for his girl. All up in here. You see this?
Oh God. Don't let this be a thing, sir. Wow.
Worldwide. KD, apparently, according to sources, is stating that he might not mind going to New York. Says that he feels about New York as LeBron felt about the Lakers. Reports say, with the makeup of the team, I don't see realistic unless they get rid of Tim Hardaway Jr. And maybe another piece or two because he makes a lot of money. How it would work? I mean, KP, Enes Kanter, Kevin Knox, Kevin Durant.
I feel like
many K's in there.
Way too much.
It would be.
I feel like if we get ourselves a good solid point guard with those 3 pieces, Kanter, Porzingis, and Knox, I feel like we'll be way better off than having KD, Kevin Knox, KP, and Kanter. I feel like that's just too many pieces there.
Do you think that Trey Burke can carry the load? I mean, they have so many point guards on this team. You got
Nikhila,
Emmanuel Mudiay. You got Nittokina. Was it Nitokina?
Just call him Frank. Just call him Frank. It's cool.
Nitokina.
Okay, just call him Frank.
Nitilikina.
Stop it. The people are listening to you right now. Just call him Frank.
Lefim Nikita.
Okay. We're just gonna.
Okay, so they got Ron Baker down there. I mean, I feel like they have so many point guards. I mean, the person that I'm just so excited to see on Knicks roster is Joakim Noah still. But I mean, that's just me.
He's about to get the door. That's gonna happen. It's probably gonna happen like the very, very beginning of the season, but it's gonna happen. It's not gonna be a trade. They're definitely gonna cut him. Yeah. And he's not necessarily keeping quiet about how much he wants to leave the Knicks as well too. I'm just just let the fool go.
I think it's only because of how he's working. He's trying to work his way back into shape and everything. And he probably, how people feel like they always feel like they still have something left in the tank. So it makes sense. But yeah, I think Trey Burke can definitely do it. Frankie,
I can still do it.
Exactly. I can still do it. But I think you even mentioned that you would love to have Kyrie come in, and it would be great.
Yeah, I made it known on the Bit Amongst Friends Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Bit Amongst Friends,
Hmm.
that I would prefer having Kyrie Irving over Kevin Durant.
Hmm. I think it'll be good. I think Kyrie
And I feel
said he
like
doesn't
Kyrie on
play.
the Knicks roster with those core three that I mentioned before, and if we could still keep Tim Hardaway Jr., that'd be great. I feel like we can run to the finals
Mm.
and push the Warriors to 7.
The Warriors to 7. Wow. Not anybody else, but the Warriors to 7. Ain't that something? Wow. Wow.
Oh, I'm
Well,
not
I
gonna be
want you
stupid enough to say, oh, LeBron James is down unless he's, automatically gonna go to the NBA Finals. Like people, like that pissant, that fool, that
no.
asinine fella. Stephen A. Smith said that the LeBron Lakers or the Cleveland Lakers will be heading to the Western Conference Finals this year. I feel
I'm
like
sorry
that's
to break everybody's hearts, but
that's
yeah.
disrespectful. Obviously, it's blatant favoritism.
Right.
I feel like it's a slap to the face to every other team in the West, minus the Golden State Warriors, who made it to the playoffs last year, as well as the teams that just missed out on it.
Yeah.
Like, no, you don't do that. Like, don't give teams like the Rockets fuel. See what
That's what's happening right now, because I'm sitting there like, first of all, I really think that the Rockets are going to be in the finals going against somebody in the East, and I'm going to believe that until it doesn't happen. But it will. So I'm going to believe it till the end.
I'm so sorry, sir. My gut is telling me that's not gonna happen.
Hey, hopefully you just have a bad gut
this
tonight.
NFL season, I have a gaudy cloud over your Bucks.
So I mean, but I feel more confident in the Rockets than I do the Bucks. So
You should probably have
I will say
less confidence in the Rockets.
I don't think so. I think what I saw yesterday, if that's a telltale sign of what's to come.
Why don't you listen to me when I tell you don't look at the preseason like that? Like, yes, the Knicks are about to win this game against the Nets, but A, it's the Nets, B, it's the preseason, and C, I mean, this kid just scored 22 points.
I think it's because you got to look at the potential, not just what the score. Like, even if we lost the game yesterday, it wouldn't have mattered. But I mean, the potential of what I see as a fan, I see us playing the style. Like, we're still gelling. So we're playing and showing the style of basketball that we want to play. And I mean, because obviously you're going to have just 6 rebounds. I mean, I think, you know what I mean? Like, I could tell, like, it wasn't a full-fledged game, but what I could see is that this whole thing is going to work. Because just think about it. People were saying, oh, this whole thing with Carmelo is not going to work. Like, I think it's going to work. What I saw from James Ennis, that's going to work for me. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, my God, why do we get this guy? He's trash. I don't want him. Let's just trade him and let's go get Jimmy Butler, which I don't want unless he's trash.
I'm telling you, that's exactly what's probably going to end up happening.
I hope not. I don't want that at all. It'd be terrible. But other than that,
it wouldn't happen either. But at the same time, it's anything is possible in the NBA,
especially with strip club bottle popping Daryl Morey.
That's hilarious. You. Thank you.
But I think I'm just excited. I mean, I think with this loss from the Bucks this past weekend, I'm just so ready for basketball season already.
I'm actually excited. found ways now to watch NBA games. Like, I can't wait to start doing that now. So I'll be able to watch more games than I did last year. I'm not ashamed to say that, I miss out on a couple of games, but it is what it is.
Absolutely. And I mean, I could see us, catching a game or two. I know you normally go to New York sometimes during the season, or you might check out the Knicks in Dallas if they come out.
I might actually go to more Mavericks games out here this
I
year,
think
especially
it'd
if
be
it's
fun.
against those Rockets.
I might even make my way out there if they're going against the Rockets. You just never knows.
I'll definitely make sure that I would purchase a Dirk Nowitzki jersey for the
Oh
occasion.
my God. Oh yeah, I mean it's going to be going out of print soon, so you should make sure you get that.
Actually, speaking of the Mavericks, real quickly, Luka Doncic is a freaking beast.
Well, I mean, we knew that he was going to be good.
He might be a problem.
Oh no, I mean, I didn't expect
be a problem.
Yeah, I didn't expect him not to be a problem. I think people automatically look at players from overseas and they kind of give them that these overseas guys, they don't know how it is to play against LeBron, KD. Yeah, they don't know how to play against these guys. So I think that's where it kind of, that whole stigma, like KP, for example, people hated him. Give him a chance. Give him a chance, Professor said.
You hear me say it all the time, and what happens?
Yeah.
Magic stuff happens.
Just give him a chance. Give him a chance. But yeah, I think the Mavericks are going to be good. I mean, them getting Doncic, them getting DeAndre Jordan, I think that's
finally
great improvements. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's his fault because he's the one that let Doc Rivers lock him in his house and coerce him to sign a contract. Chris Paul, they're breaking into his house and coerce him to sign and stay.
Like years later, are we still not going to talk about like how that's wrong in so many different levels?
So many ways. Peer pressure like crazy. Oh, I mean, they brought my favorite wine. They watched my favorite movie. And then they were like, I mean, we could do this every week if you want to.
This is true.
If you go to Dallas, I'm not going to Dallas. And then here's Chris Paul years later going to Houston.
That's too funny still. I mean, you're very happy that Chris Paul went there. I mean,
initially I was a little apprehensive because, of course, we gave up a lot of pieces.
I told you, I think that's a chance.
I think give
it a chance.
That's the only thing that stinks is that, like, yes, Chris Paul is great. I like Chris Paul a lot. I like Carmelo a lot. I somewhat like Jimmy Butler, but I don't like giving up pieces that I haven't had a chance to actually watch develop yet, because it just gives me flashbacks of Rudy Gay. Like, it just gives me flashbacks of Rudy Gay every time. Every single time. That's what I get. Rudy Gay flashbacks. And although I like Battier, I think having Rudy Gay with the team that we had at that time would have been more beneficial for our offense.
Fair enough.
Having DeAnthony Melton would have been perfect for our defense. But I like these new young guys. I like Marquise Chris. I like what I saw out of him yesterday. And I like some of these other guys. I feel like, yeah, we can make a good run with their length. They have a lot of wingspan. And their shooting ability is great. I like their shooting ability. It was really good yesterday. And if they're able to do that for 82 games, we can go undefeated. We're not going undefeated, but you know what I mean.
I let you ride this whole time with this whole thing. I think we're at end game, ladies and gentlemen. Doc, what are your final thoughts?
Shadow.
It's like he's just gonna go on and on. I'm like, I'm gonna let him ride with this one. I'm not even gonna stop him.
Hey, so final thought. Of course, I'm still playing NBA 2K19. I finally hit 85 overall. Dr. Wednesday Night on Xbox One. My brother Shadow 0429. We're looking for a team. I mean, we're just two free agents. I'm actually going to post on the free agent Facebook page and see if we can find some guys that are looking. Because I mean, when me and him play together, we're really, really good. But we just haven't found those other pieces that are going to take us to the. But I'm enjoying the grind. I really wish I would have had the discipline, I would say, to record my grind. Because like I said, I haven't spent any money. $4. I think that's it. And I know there are a lot of people who spend a little bit more than $4 to build their team, but I actually took my time and really grinded my badges, which I'm almost complete. And to get to 85 overall is no easy feat without spending any money, to me at least. So I'm looking forward to competitive play. Once we actually do get a team going, I think it's going to be pretty cool. And go Rockets.
Wow. Wow. Are you finished with your final thoughts, sir?
That's a wrap. I mean, I started with me being in a movie, so it's kind of like, let me just end on a different note.
Well, for me, ladies and gentlemen, I have final thoughts. Update in the infiltration domestic dispute.
Please.
Coming out of Panda Global's camp, they basically reiterated that once we get more information, we'll let everyone know. They got the court documentations, but now they need to translate it from Korean over to English, properly translated, of course, because the smallest slights in translation can lead to just Armageddon for poor infiltration. But once we find more about that, then we'll let you know. Also, infiltration finally came back onto Twitter as well, too, stating that a lot of the things that's being said about him is incorrect. And once he gets the okay from his lawyers to speak more on it, then he'll be able to talk more to it. And then he followed up by saying that his lawyer gave him the green light to actually start talking, but he didn't say anything after that. So everyone's basically waiting at the edge of their seat, so to speak, to hear what else is happening there. There was some other FGC Capcom Pro Tour events that happened, but I completely drew a blank, and I actually had a chance to watch it on Button Checks this morning, but I've been pretty tired, so I'll save that for next week. I apologize. But one thing that I enjoyed reading about, and it's actually before tonight's game, which the Knickerbockers did win against the October Nets.
That's good.
But before the game, the Knickerbockers gotten a pep talk. There was a spokesperson who went to the locker room tonight, and it was none other than our boy, Ryan. What's up? Patrick? What's up, Ryan? Oh! Oops! It is Patrick Ewing, soon to be NBA Hall of Famer, Nick legend. I mean, if you was a Knicks fan in the late 80s into the 90s, I mean, you understand the contribution that Patrick Ewing had for the team. I love it because it gets people motivated. A lot of the people who are on the Knicks roster was either not born, or wasn't even a wink in their daddy's eye, to coin a phrase. So to hear, what being a New York Knick means from someone who played the game for so long wearing that uniform, I mean, for me, it's special. I mean, it doesn't get any better than listening from Patrick Ewing. Like, I would have loved to be in the locker room to hear from him myself. Like, I would have so many questions for him. I would love to hear and be regaled from all the different stories of the various different wars that he had, from the Reggie Miller led Pacers to the, Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan led Bulls, and even the intense rivalry that they had with Alonzo Mourning and Pat Riley going to the Heat. Like, just to hear those stories from his perspective would have been amazing, and it would be something that I would take with me to the grave, of life dreams coming into fruition, and be able to talk to him. But that being said, though, so Coach Fizdale, who helped coordinate this spokesperson moment with the Knickerbockers for this preseason game, is actually looking to get more Knicks legends to come in and talk to the players. So from Pearl Monroe to Clyde Frazier, but he's always there. And he also mentioned that he's definitely going to try to get Charles Oakley back into the Garden. And I think if anyone can probably do that, I think Coach Fizdale can do it, because he just has this all around him that things just happen. And you can tell from all the various different news media articles that's coming out, from the New York Times to the Daily News. I mean, heck, even the Daily Bugle, but I know that's a fictional one. But like, he just has this thing about him that has people just embracing it. What's the proper term I'm looking for, sir? Having them buy in, because they're not selling out like Joakim Noah. I mean, and we mentioned it with like Hugh Jackson during Hard Knocks. Like, people just buy into what the coaches are saying.
Mm-hmm.
And even furthermore, even Rick Pitino is endorsing Fizdale. Like, this might become a very magical thing that's going to happen. So when I say I don't want KD with the Knicks, these are the things that I'm talking about. We want things to become more balanced. And I know Jay Rich, asked the trolling question of, well, what do you expect the Knicks to get, low market coverage for it being in a big city? I'm not saying that. I'm trying to say is we need to just stick to talking about the basketball elements of things, and not have every little single thing that's happening in the organization or even in the locker room become national media attention news. I mean, heck, KD himself made national headlines news by saying that people still think that, he's a snake and he doesn't play defense. Like, he's self-inducing these type of headlines. He's basically pulling a LeBron by controlling the narrative. And for me, as a basketball fan, former player, back in the day, way back in the day, no, I'm not up to the levels of the NBA players. I would never say that and disrespect them that manner. But like, I respect the integrity of the game. Like, I don't care what people have to say. I just want to go out there and I want to shut them up with my actions instead of with my words. That's just the way that I play the game. And my last final thought. See, I had 3 of them tonight. This Saturday, along with the Super Showdown, is also UFC 229. Now, why would I be talking about UFC? Well, there's a bad man returning to the octagon. A man who made his professional boxing debut months ago is now returning to the octagon. Conor McGregor, 21-3, will be returning to headline UFC 229 at the T-Mobile Arena in, of course, Las Vegas, Nevada. I mean, come on. The match, I mean, there's going to be some pretty good ones, actually. I mean,
isn't Rampage fighting this week?
No.
He's not.
No, we have we got 5 matches on the card. We got a women's strawweight match between Michelle Watterson, who's 15-6, versus Felice Herring, who's 14-7. Derek Lewis, this is a heavyweight bout. Derek Lewis, who is 20-5, with one no decision, going against Alexander Volkov, who is 30-6. Then after that, we have a light heavyweight match between Oven St. Brooks, who is 23-11, versus Dominic Reyes, who is 9-0. And in the co-main event is both of them could be lightweight matches, actually. Tony Ferguson, who is 23-3, versus Anthony Pettis, who is 21-7. And of course, the main event. We have Khabib. I can't spell his last name, so I'm not going to butcher it because I'm going to respect him because he could kick my butt. Who is 26-0, going against Conor McGregor, who is 21-3. So that's your card. Everything starts at 9 p.m. So make sure you, if you want to watch it, you can catch it on your cable companies, pay-per-view stations. You know, if you can find a way to stream it as well too. We're not telling you to pirate stuff.
Right.
Or you could go to your local bars who will probably be watching the event as well too. But those are my final thoughts, sir.
Fantastic ones. Fantastic.
We have no tracks tonight, so we're just going to say make sure you catch Debate Amongst Friends on YouTube every single Wednesday evening. We started pretty late, but that's because a lot of things was happening. But we'll make sure we start our normal time next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube. You can also catch us offline, of course, on YouTube. You can catch all the past episodes. You can also listen to us on SoundCloud. You can listen to us on Google Podcasts, iTunes, FM Radio, Stitcher, and any and all podcast applications on your Android and iOS devices. But once again, I am the Professor John Gotti.
And I'm Dr. Wednesday Night himself.
And I am the Beast Incarnate. We'll catch you again. And as always, good night, mwah, and goodbye.